together and work together to try to see if we can reverse this trend.
Okay.
I think that there's community, there's churches, there's all sorts of things that are going on in the city about this because it's scary.
Right.
And I think we need to do something about it, but we've been saying that for a while.
Right, so we need to put it in action, right?
It's past the action stage. It should have been done a while ago, but
I agree.
It's here now and people are talking about it, and I would hope that we could really see if we could take a bite out of this.
My name is Eric Abram. I'm an actor and model and a director's assistant at a daycare. And I feel that people who commit violence just for unnecessary, I don't know what's going on with them. I think it stems from the household, or they're not getting enough love and attention. Like, I work at a daycare, so I see at a very young age how parents who don't put in the time and attention to the kids and how they act and how it turns into a whole nother level as they get older. I think one thing that we could do is like the reach one, teach one thing. Like, if you see someone out there that needs assistance and you can provide it, I mean, what's a few minutes out your day just to tell someone that you care about, that you love?
My comment on the violence is that it's ridiculous. I think it's pathetic. It's over. It starts at home first. And I think if we do more home training as far as our kids concerned, then the violence will be cut down tremendously. We have 900 killings this year in the United States alone up to this day. And it's just ridiculous.
I agree.
The Aurora thing, the young kids killing. I think the gun laws need to be enforced. And I hope that bill will pass. Wow,
it's so much going on, right?
It's overwhelming.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Right. So how do you feel this concert rally with Diggy Simmons, getting all the youth together, do you think that's going to make an impact on stopping the violence and bringing some awareness?
If we can touch one person, and then they touch one person, of course it'll make an impact. But
Okay.
We got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It has to start somewhere. Now, I think he's doing a good thing.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about how you feel about the violence that's been going on in the city. What do you think maybe the causes are for it, or just how you feel about people that are committing random acts of violence?
I just want the world to get together, stop all the shooting, all the raping, like everything.
Violence in general is just getting out of control, right?
Getting out of control. It's just more of a I don't know what's going on. It's just the young crowd. It's just it's lacking a lot of people, in this generation going through a lot and just hurt people for no reason.
Right. And how do you feel about this concert? Do you think the rally with Diggy Simmons is going to make any kind of impact on the youth and building awareness about stopping the violence?
This will give them attention and show them, what's going on.
Okay.
I think that if we want to see a change, then the people who feel strongly about it need to make that change first and set an example for those who are committing these acts.
Okay, Bryce, and can you tell me a little bit how you feel about the violence that's going on in the city, and if there's any solutions to the problem, or how do you feel that people have actually started committing violence? What's the root cause?
Well, I think all the violence is just ridiculous to begin with. I feel like it starts in the home. Like, they must not have had a good upbringing, their parents didn't love them,
Okay.
closeness, a good family.
So you think it kind of starts with the parents and showing an example, kind of like?
Yeah.
Okay. And like this concert with Diggy Simmons and OMG Girls, do you think that this is actually going to make any kind of impact as far as bringing awareness to the violence that's going on in the city and bring about change?
I think it'll bring a lot more change. I've seen a lot of politicians talking about it recently, and the people that are causing the violence aren't going to listen to a bunch of politicians. Like,
Right.
music artists are able to get out to people a lot more than an old rich guy sitting on his ass doing nothing.
No, I totally agree. All right, thank you very much. Name?
My name is Jack John Harvey Holland.
Jack John Harvey Holland. That's a cool name, bro. All right, so can you tell me a little bit about stopping the violence? Tell me a little bit about people that you think that commit violence, against random people. How do you feel about people like that?
I don't think that all acts of violence are committed randomly.
Okay.
There's only very strange cases when they are random, and most of them are some end. You know, they need money. They need to, I don't know, get home. There's tons of things that people will do just.
So it's like survival, kind of. Yeah.
Survival of the fittest in this world.
Right. So do you feel like people that need to survive, you know, like whether it's, you know, they need to pay rent or, you know, get to their, you know, get home, do you think that it's okay that they can commit violence against other people, or do you think they should find maybe another solution to get it done?
I think as a community we need to find better solutions to make sure that they're not left in a position where they feel that's
Okay.
Man, honestly, you know, I think it's ignorance. Some people, you know, they follow the lead of others, man. They don't have their own leadership, you know what I mean?
Right.
We got a lot of youths out here that's doing the nonsense as far as committing crimes against innocent. You know, the innocent people, they ain't never did nothing to nobody.
Right.
They ain't do nothing to them for the stuff that happened to them. But, you know, I think, you know, a better way for the youth is for them to have something to do.
Right.
Instead of being out here in the streets, after school, getting out the school programs. The bigger guys is out here, get them the mentor these young guys out here, because, you know, right now, they're falling off.
Right.
You know, we're not here uplifting our fellow humanity, when that's what we're supposed to be here for.
Keontae Morrell? Okay. And just tell me a little bit about how you feel about people that commit random acts of violence against innocent people. You know, like what would make somebody feel that that's okay?
To feel like if they were just in the way. I mean, other than that, it really isn't okay to me.
Right.
I don't think random attacks is okay to me.
Okay, so you think like the people that they're targeting, you know, like obviously they're trying to do this so they can survive, you know, like maybe it's something involved with that. How do you feel about people that commit acts of violence so that they can survive rather than finding another solution?
To be honest, I really don't know. Like I kind of had the same mindset as them, so I don't really think it's the other way.
Okay. So you feel like, you know what I'm saying, there's probably no other way, and so in order to survive, you got to kind of like do that to make ends meet? Is that what it is? Or like, is it just because you're mad? Like, I mean, what would, like if somebody's laying on the street with the blood of pool behind their head, you know, like what really would justify that? Anything?
Anything like necessity, I guess. Like something that had to happen. Other than that, I really don't think, you know, violence is really that cool though. But if it needed to happen, it needed to happen. Cause I'm the type of person that feel like if something happened to my people, because she's an innocent, like my people's innocent pedestrians, and sometimes like that something happened to my uncle like that.
Right.
And
so it's like retaliation, but look, like, you know what I'm saying, like the person that committed the act against your uncle, they're obviously in the wrong. And would you be okay with going to prison for retaliation though? That's the thing, you know what I'm saying? We're not thinking about the consequences. And that's something that, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, you can retaliate and get that person back. They're not going to be alive anymore. But that's going to ruin your whole life if you get caught, and most likely you will. Is that, do you kind of agree with that? You know what I'm saying?
I agree. That's why I don't really do things like that. I just watch.
Right, but that's the whole thing. Like, you know what I'm saying, we throwing this concert so we can kind of get people a little bit more proactive, start making a change, man. I really appreciate your time here, so we can get your insight, and it's just as important as everybody else's, man. So we appreciate it.
I think that it's going on in the city. I'm actually from the south side. I just go to school on the north side.
Okay.
I actually live in a kind of rough neighborhood over there on 79th and Cottage.
Right.
And it's always caution tape everywhere, all the time. It's a reason why they call the city Chirac.
Right.
You know, and I think that reckless killing for no reason is definitely need to be stopped. Because I mean, killing is always wrong. I don't condone it, but I mean, if it happens, it needs to be a good reason for it.
Okay, and so do you think like retaliation? I've had a few people tell me that retaliation, you know, like they said their uncle got into something. Retaliation, is that really a reason to, you know, throw away your whole life, go to prison, just so you can get somebody back? Do you think that people are really thinking about the consequences out there?
Actually, no.
And be honest with me.
I mean, coming from a perspective of, you know, a dude that's from the streets, it's like, you know, beef is a big issue in Chicago. If you gotta retaliate, nobody ever thinks about the consequences.
Right.
People just get so caught up in that moment, like
Caught up in their emotions, right?
if you do something to my guy, I'm finna get you back no matter what.
Right.
They don't think about going to jail or getting shot, or, you know, the people that they try to retaliate against, they don't think about them retaliating against them.
Exactly.
So it's just out here, it's a way of life.
Personally, like, I don't really see the point of it. Like, these first world problems, like, they make no sense to me. like people that decide to rob people for no reason just because they feel that they may like have life better than others, which doesn't make sense because nobody got life good these days.
Right.
And like, it's like,
and it's kind of like we choose to live in, Iraq or Chirac, as so they call it. Like, and really, if you compare it to third world countries, it's a little different, right?
It's
and we
a
should
lot.
take advantage of what we have here, right?
yeah, like so many kids these days bitch at their parents because they can't get money, and so they choose other options to go rob people, which it's America. Like, we have so many different ways to make money, to do whatever we want, and like we just take so much advantage of all that and just use it for complete wrong reasons, why we could be using our good to help other countries out instead of making our own country worse.
Exactly.
Like, you got all these game bangers out here and everything shooting each other for no reason, just because they're trying to get that quick block to earn the actual money for that specific group.
Right.
And it's just, all there is, these generations now, like our newer generation, is just learn, like the only things they go by is sex, money, drugs, and who could be the toughest guy.
Right.
And it just never makes sense to me, and it probably never will.
Can you tell me, like, what do you think the root cause is? Do you think it maybe could be like the rap lyrics? Like you got young.
I can't play music just because they're doing what they love to do, and how they learn to do it. It's just all these younger minds are taken into different contexts,
Right.
and they're thinking like rap music these days. They're teaching you about the hard life so you can make a better life.
Right. So we've got people trying to emulate and simulate these rappers, but they're really not accomplishing anything. You don't really see people making millions of dollars, the ones that are, like committing the violence. So it's like, what's the point of it all,
And most of these rappers these days, it's a cover-up. None of them actually come from where they say they came from or any of that. Like, that guy Tigga, like, he was from the valleys. He was never from Compton. The only reason he got promoted was because he's Traveling McCoy's cousin.
Right.
And he says he's from the Comptons, he does all this and does that. He never did that. The only reason he got his name is because his mom used to call him Little Tiger Woods.
Okay. That's some good insight.
I mean, I think that's in the wrong. I think if you're gonna do something, you need to get the people that's right. You know what I'm saying? The people that's out there doing it, the people that's out there in it. But I think that's wrong. No, if the wrong person get hit. But what I do feel like if somebody with the person, they're around somebody that's gang affiliated, and you're around and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's on you. That's on the person that know what's around them. They should be conscious anyways.
Right.
I feel about that.
So what about the people that's like retaliating? Like their boy got hit up, and so they trying to, get retaliation. Do you think that they really think about the consequences, like going to prison and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, me personally, I'm a victim. I got shot before, and how I felt about that situation was, even if I did get revenge, what that's gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make them want to come back even more. So I do feel like it's kind of messed up how society is, but alright, what can I say? That's just how it is.
My name's Hakeem Nicholson.
Okay. And so tell me how you feel about people that commit acts of violence out of retaliation, for instance.
I feel
Your honest
I
opinion,
feel it's wrong, but I mean it's normal, Retaliation is just something that happens in the everyday, you know what I'm saying? Somebody do something to you, you care about somebody, it's only normal, a human feeling, emotion to get revenge or just retaliate or something.
Right. And then, like, how do you feel about just gangs in general? Like, do you think it's all about survival, or do you think it's a little bit more childish nowadays and it's just about, creating as much negative impact on the world as possible? That's almost what it seems like.
I think it's mostly about survival. So
Okay.
People don't have a choice, some people just grow up in it. This is all they know, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can't really say it's just something childish. It's real out here. People take this shit seriously, you know what I mean? It's not like it's just a game or something you see on TV. Okay, they just game. Nah, it's more to it than just that.
Right.
So
do you think if they had more options, like, do they need more options, or do you think if they had the right types of options, that they would just ignore it? Like, if let's say we gave them $100,000 to start up their own company, do you think they would really give up the streets, or is it something that they just can't get rid of because it's all their people involved with it?
Not that they can't get rid of it. It's just that what else do they have? You know what I'm saying? This is where they grow up.
Right.
They don't have it, like they don't got money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had $100,000 to give me, hell yeah, I'll be about this money.
Okay.
I'll be about it here, start up my little business, you know what I'm saying? music production or something like that. Something.
Right, but I mean, I see you in school and everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, that's the first step, but maybe school isn't even the first, the main option. Like, I think that sometimes college is overrated. It's all, I have a college degree myself, and, there are a lot of people that don't have college degrees. I think it's about 80% of millionaires don't have a college degree,
I really don't think, college is good. Don't get me wrong, everybody should further their education if they're able to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You should not want to, be more knowledgeable and be more open to learning new things. But at the end of the day, you don't have to have a degree to be successful in life, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people, take Tyler Perry for instance. A nigga like him, he used to be out here homeless under a bridge, and what is he now? Got his own production studio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Making his own films, got his own TV shows. You know what I mean? So you don't really, at the end of the day, it's just, I guess it's just the grind and how bad you want it. You know what I mean?
What's your passion?
What's your passion, basically?
Yeah.
That's basically what it boils down to. Your decision on what you want in life. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to put in the work, it's whatever you put in is what you get out. If you don't put in no work, you ain't gonna get nothing out of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you put, you really focus on what you want in life and you get to it. I put my right hand to God, you gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My name is Keith.
Okay. And why don't you tell me a little bit about your experience with violence and like the things that you've seen out here and about people that commit random acts of violence against people?
First of all, I started gangbanging when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I've been up here since 79. I'm not going to tell you who I was affiliated with, but I've been affiliated with the gangs up here. And as my experience is now, it's not the same as it was back then.
Okay.
Now, the people,
have a good day.
the people who gangbang now and when I was gangbanging, it's a whole different character. They shoot before they talk now. Back then we used to fight before we gangbang. Now it's just random shooting as an act. They don't care who they shoot. As long as they get close to their target. I'm a 5-time loser. That means I've been to the penitentiary 5 times in my lifetime.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I sold drugs, gang bang, and everything for a cause which I know now as a perspective that it was not worth the cost.
What was the cause? Was it survival? Was it family? Was it retaliation?
Now, first growing up, you know what I'm saying? When you don't have no love in the family, you go outside of your family and look for love. So gang banging was a cause that you didn't feel caused love in the hood. So you go outside of your family members to look for love.
Exactly.
So now, when you get outside the hood, you get introduced to different drugs, gang banging, and all the elements of the streets.
Right.
But you still feel love because these people say they love you.
Right.
When your family members, these are called broken homes.
Okay.
Or sometimes one parent home when your father's not there, or if your mother's not there, you look for love somewhere else.
Right.
I'm talking about these are poverty homes where when your parents can't provide for you, you look for other means to provide for yourself, even at a young child, but you still feel love.
Even if they're negative people.
Even if they're negative people, you still feel love because they're fitting your means and you feel love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just from the broken childhood of poverty neighborhoods.
Okay. So do you think there's a solution? Do you think it's just about parents getting more involved in their kids' lives, telling them that they love them, giving them some, support as far as, like the things that they want to achieve in life? Do you think any of that plays into it?
I think it plays into it, but look, it's a vicious cycle. If your parents have been raised that way too, and they don't know no other way of life, how could they teach you something else?
Okay. So it takes other people to step in then.
It takes other people.
Okay.
They say a village. It takes a village to raise a child.
Okay.
It takes a village to raise a child. So it got to be a full circle or things that got to be put in to raise a child.
Exactly.
So how could they teach you something that they never knew in their whole life?
Right.
Now, when you go into the educational realms of this, your teachers teach you this, but your parents is on drugs or something else, and you go back to a broken household, and your teachers are teaching you this. It's mismatched.
So it's like a disconnect somewhere, right?
It's mismatched.
Right.
So your parents are dysfunctional, and then your teachers are functional, telling you this way, but you love your parents. So who you gonna listen to, your parents or your teacher?
Your parents, obviously.
You're gonna listen to your parents.
Right.
So your parents weigh more than your teachers. Even though you want to listen to your teachers, it's dysfunctional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a conflict of interest all the way around.
Okay.
It's conflict of interest all the way around.
I completely agree with you, man. You know, we need more people like you that can really, you know, understand what's going on out there from your past experiences. And we need more people like you to kind of like join the cause, man. You know, and become those parents that, you know, people don't have at home, man. We really appreciate it.
You know what? People who have been through these been through these conflicts of interests, and have kind of like, I'm not saying they made it all the way out. They still might have skeletons in their closet, but it's great to talk about.
Okay.
For the healed land.
So we can heal and move forward.
And heal the land and tell other people about it. If you stay silent,
deny it.
If you stay silent, you still got these issues that you're gonna always have to deal with. But your perspective, if you come out and tell somebody about it, if you save one person or one child, it would do the world a whole great difference.
I think it's kind of stupid because, like, people out here shooting each other for no reason. For what? They aim for someone else and hit somebody else with no remorse, and they just keep on doing it.
Right. And so, like, do you think that people that commit not random, but actual acts of violence because of retaliation, do you think there's any justification for that?
Man, people think it's justified, but it's really not. Like, it's easy to just let it blow over because eventually someone else is gonna get shot on the same side. So,
right, and then people eventually, like, there are consequences, and people don't really think about the consequences when they do it, right? So do you think this concert with Diggy Simmons and OMG Girls, do you think it might not stop the violence immediately, but do you think it'll bring awareness a little bit?
I think it's gonna bring a little bit more awareness. You know, people gonna start thinking more before they act and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for your time, man.
It's fruitless. It's no reason, no cause for it. You know, I mean, the job market is bad, but there's always other things to do. You know, it's just people not really utilizing their brain and exercising themselves to the utmost.
Right.
And it's just like the city's not really helping us as much, but when you can't get a job, it's time for your entrepreneurship to make your own job.
Okay. Do you think the city kind of has the system set up against us? You know, so it kind of like takes away opportunity and pretty much only gives us negative options to look forward to?
Well, especially for the minorities, incarceration is a big key here. You know, it brings big finance here to the city, and the city is controlled by it. Not only that, it's the biggest way to steal money. You know what I'm saying? Through incarceration, because no one questions where the money is going and where it's all about politics.
Exactly. So could you tell me just a little bit about people that commit acts of violence for retaliation? Do you think there's any type of like situation where retaliation and violence is justified?
There's no need for retaliation. You know, it's just like the Bible. The Bible, God says that He'll handle it. So you know, people just they caught up in their own self. You know what I mean? Worrying about what other people think, and that's majority why retaliation is taken care of, because the person is worrying about what the other person is thinking about. So you know, retaliation is useless. 9 out of 10 is active once you worry about what the other person is going to say or how other people are going to deal with your situation.
Right. Okay. Appreciate the time, man. So I just need your first name.
Hi, my name's Lynette.
Nice to meet you, Lynette. And so what do you do for a living? Are you a student?
Yes, I'm a full-time student.
Okay. So I just want to get your thoughts about, you know, people that commit random acts of violence, you know, maybe against innocent people. What do you feel about people like that?
I feel that they need to go ahead and commit themselves to a psychiatric ward.
Okay, so you think these people are really out here going crazy, right?
Like, really, though, like, I don't think that's right, especially to innocent people. Now, there's a difference between gangs, but at the same time, it's not a difference, because violence is violence. At the same time, people should just, like, cut violence out. Like, it's not necessary.
Okay, so what about people that commit acts of violence for, you know, like retaliation, for instance? Do you think there's any circumstance that warrants that type or justifies committing acts of violence like that?
Nothing justifies violence, whether it's an act of defense or, well, if it's self-defense, that's a different story, but if you're retaliating, that means you're seeking revenge. So that means that you're stooping down to the level of the person that did something to you in the first place, which means you're not mature in the head enough to just walk away and leave it alone. Yeah, I think that because they're young and they're promoting this, it should touch the younger kids that are out there committing violence. Because there are a lot of kids that are out here young, but you have to look at the community. Like in society today, it seems that there are a lot of young parents, and they say a village, it takes a village to raise a child. These days, villages don't get together to raise no children. It's babies having babies. So how can you teach a baby something if you don't even know yourself?
Exactly.
Okay, well, my name's Deani.
Okay, Deani.
To innocent people, I think that to me that's just completely wrong, because one, the people who who are innocent, they work for theirs. They work hard to get theirs. While the people who are robbing them, like let's say for instance, like the people downtown and stuff, people are just getting robbed for the iPhones and
right.
Their purses and stuff. These people work hard for those things, while there's people who are just trying to just trying to get the easy way out, call it quote unquote hustling.
Right. So it's like people need to find a real hustle, like something that they're passionate about, not just negative stuff, robbing, stealing, stuff like that. Exactly. So do you think that they need more opportunities, or do you think they need to create their own opportunities?
I think it's a little bit of both, because there's plenty of opportunities out here. There's there's people out here who are offering jobs.
And do you think if somebody that has just killed somebody, for instance, do you think that if they could rewind time and somebody was to offer them $100,000 to start up their own business, do you think they would really be interested in that, or are they only interested in the negative part of life and they would probably pass up that opportunity to start up something good?
You know what? If they're smart enough, then I think they would take that opportunity as as a new gateway. Because I don't see why anybody would want to go back and do the same thing over again.
Right.
Take a life for no reason.
Right. So some of it is really the city. The city needs to create more opportunities, right?
Right.
Okay. Cool. Well, I thank you for your time.